My name is Jessie Buttafuoco. You may recognize the name, Buttafuoco. Our name means fire thrower, Buttafuoco, throwing fire, you know, and now it means a joke, like top 10 list on David Letterman.
Number 3, get one more cheap laugh by saying the word Buttafuoco.
It all started in May of 1992 with a gunshot. And from then on, life as I knew it was insane. You may even recognize the story, but I'm here to tell you, you don't know the real story.
There were only 2 people on that step that day, me and her. She was there to kill me.
A teenager shows up at a door and she shoots her in the face? What?
She is accused of an affair with a married man more than twice her age. She is in jail on charges of trying to kill his wife. But who is Amy Fisher?
Amy Fisher, the villain. Dun, dun, dun. Well, I guess there's a few villains in this story.
Joey Buttafuoco.
Joey knew of my intentions towards his wife.
This phenomenon starts to happen.
Come on.
It's not about me anymore. It's not about the person who got shot and assassinated on the front of her own home. It becomes about Joey and Amy.
It took on a life of its own. They wanted to get big, bad Joey.
Lights, camera, action. Joey loves that.
Tell us your side, Joey, right?
This story has never gone away. It's been told a million times.
I got shot in the head, she did it, and he had something to do with it too.
Now is the time to talk about it and not drown myself in booze and drugs. And I kind of made it my mission is I'm gonna make this name something again, because it turned to If one man can change the meaning of a name, one woman can change it back. And I'm that woman.
Why did love put a gun in my hand?
Let's start at the very beginning. This is Buttafuoco 101. Here are the players. We have my dad, Joey Buttafuoco. He's the larger-than-life, you know, baggy pant-wearing, mullet, rockin' dude. And we have my mom, Mary Jo, who's an absolute angel and the best mother anyone could ask for. The other player in this story is Amy Fisher, the teenager obsessed with my father, who's the one who shot my mother in the face. Hold on, let's take it back. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Let's go back to happier times. I was living in Massapequa, New York, a beautiful little suburb on Long Island, New York. Growing up, my family life was ideal.
I met Joey in summer school of 9th grade. We had both failed social studies. We were in summer school, and he was just the funniest guy in the room. He was a class clown.
I was a ruffian, I was a hooligan, you know, with my little crew of hooligans, you know. My affection for Mary Jo was, she was back then, a gentle woman, a gentle girl. She was gentle. And she came from a great family that had great values. You know, I clearly did not.
My mom and dad knew him, and he was part of the family. Always there, very generous to us, loving.
I know that I busted his rear end to marry me because I was getting flack from my mother and father because you can't have sex before you get married. I'm telling you way too much. You're out of school, we're working, we got engaged, and within a year we got married. We were doing very well. He was working at his father's auto body shop, which was the family-owned business.
In the early days, I'd work at the shop with my dad. We had a pretty good-sized crew, and I was enjoying it. I was loving that.
I was working in a bank. We bought a house. We saved money. We did really, really well.
I always worked very, very hard my entire life. Yeah, I got sidetracked with drugs and all that. You know, even in the early days, if Mary Jo was one of those people that could do a line, I'm done, I'm good, smoke a little weed and have a little drink or whatever, and I'd be like, done? You're done?
I had a little boy and I had a little girl. And the white picket fence, it was all there. And my son is sweet and sensitive, and my daughter is rambunctious and gets up in the morning singing and dancing, and they're as opposite as can be, but they got along very, very well with each other. When the time came that it's either the drugs or the family, the drugs had to go as far as I was concerned. But with him, he didn't or couldn't stop.
My son was born at that point, and a lot of pressure and stress, and I was still doing cocaine with my friends, you know, living that life, you know.
Joe was acting kind of erratic. That's when things got rolling and he went into rehab and things got better.
I was born in 1983, moved to Massapequa in '86.
Nassau County was the original suburb, really.
5 years ago, this was a vast checkerboard of potato farms on New York's Long Island.
It was an outgrowth of 1950s development. You had families that were moving out of Brooklyn and Queens and settling into Nassau County.
South Shore of Long Island at the time was just the quintessential suburban bedroom community, and they relished that. It was so quintessential, so much out of central casting, so to speak, that friends even referred to Massapequa in reference to just a quiet suburban community.
So where's the party?
It's out on the island. It's in Massapequa.
Massapequa, it sounds like a magical place. Tell me about Massapequa. Is it steeped in Native American history?
Well, there is an Arby's in the shape of a teepee.
It was a cool time to grow up.
The 90s were really happening. On the charts, Whitney Houston, MC Hammer, Michael Jackson were cranking out the hits. On television, Cheers, Full House, Home Improvement, all of them ratings powerhouses. And then there was tabloid TV. Nearing the peak of its popularity, shows like A Current Affair and Hard Copy, and let's not forget the daytime talk shows hosted by the likes of Oprah Winfrey, Phil Donahue, Maury Povich, and Geraldo. But in suburban Massapequa, New York, life in the Buttafuoco household was comfortable and quiet.
That neighborhood was the best. I found my nirvana. I was exactly where I wanted to be.
Massapequa was an awesome neighborhood. Now looking back, it was such an ideal way to grow up.
Our parents were close by, our sisters and brothers were close by. The beach club was right next door. It was a great, great life. I loved it there.
To grow up running around all summer with no shoes on and being able to ride your bike throughout the neighborhood and know all your neighbors and give a wave, you know, and no one's door was locked.
I think it's fair to say that my dreams were fulfilled at that time.
What a beautiful family.
Growing up, my father was always the king. You know, I had him on the highest pedestal because he was one of us. He was always getting the neighborhood kids to get into some mischief. He was always the fun dad.
Joey was definitely my #1 child, for sure. There is a very famous story, because half of the beach is involved in it, and Joe was out in the boat, and we could see him coming back from, you know, the canal, coming down the canal, and there was a patrol boat with the light on behind him. We're like, oh, I was like, what now? What the heck did he do? And the police boat is coming alongside. Everybody's like looking. And this chant came up from the beach club. Everybody on the beach, let Joe go! Let Joe go! Let Joe go! Well, needless to say, the guy let Joe go. He didn't give him a ticket or anything. I had no clue about anything going on. Nothing. When I look back at the timeline, I look at my life and I think everything was fine, everything was good.
Because it was always our family against the world. Never, ever, ever, they never had a bad relationship to me. They had an ideal relationship.
So there was no indication that this little affair went on during that summer of 1991. No clue whatsoever that any of this went on until she knocked on my door.
Tonight we begin with a mysterious shooting in the suburbs on a street in Massapequa on Long Island.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.